Hi guys, today going to do a quick video on intra workout nutrition, so the types of things to be eating during your sessions, particularly for kind of longer bikes, runs, swims, those sorts of training sessions. A few weeks ago I did a video on pre-workout nutrition, so have a quick look at that if you haven't done so already. But today focusing on the types of things to consume during those longer sessions. So I mentioned in that previous video that up to about an hour's worth of session, your pre-workout food should fuel you. So if you've had a good meal the night before, or you've had a good breakfast or lunch, depending when you're training, that pre-workout meal should fuel you with enough energy up to about an hour, provided you've had a good amount of carbohydrate in that meal as well. Beyond that, then you're going to want to start to take on some additional calories, and they're mainly going to come from carbohydrates being our preferred kind of energy source during sessions. For me personally, having recently done a 100-mile run / walk and also done kind of other longer bike events and swim events in the past, I know from my personal perspective lots of kind of carb heavy foods work for me. Earlier on in those longer sessions, my digestive system could tolerate kind of more whole foods, so I would have things like jam sandwiches, peanut butter sandwiches, bananas, energy bars, kind of nut bars, fruit bars, those sorts of things. My digestive system could tolerate those a little bit easier earlier on in the races, and then as I got further on into it, I would start to rely on kind of easier, simple sugars that you could consume. So things like energy gels give you a nice short, sharp burst of simple sugars into the bloodstream. Recently on the 100-mile run, I was using some of this in my water bottles, so it's kind of a carb powder. Again, quite simple sugars that get into there really quickly. The major piece of advice I could give you though would be with any kind of intra-workout nutrition, your body's already working hard enough as it is. Keep those foods, things you have tried before and relatively simple. Tried before because there's nothing worse than during a workout or training session where you've got to kind of have some digestive issues, shall we say. So make sure you've tried all these things in the past, especially before if you're racing or if it's an actual event. And then, yeah, as I said earlier on, you can afford to probably take on more kind of whole foods as your digestive system can work a little bit harder earlier on. And then later on I would keep it kind of simple sugars. I was aiming for around 200 to 300 calories per hour during the 100-mile run, and that seems to be around the amount you would need for an additional hour of exercise. That being said, I've already said up to an hour should fuel your session, but you need to start fueling for that second hour in that first hour, if that makes sense. So about 30 minutes into your session, start to think about taking something on. It doesn't even have to be a whole gel or a whole bar, little and often. I used to have a timer on my Garmin. Every 30 minutes went off, I would take on something to eat, and it just little and often keeps drip feeding energy into your bloodstream. If you don't do that, you're more likely to get what we call the bonk, where you just essentially run out of your glycogen stores and you just kind of got that feeling of no energy, and it's no fun at all. So that's kind of how much you need and the types of things during those sessions. And then we come on to kind of the hydration, especially as you get into like longer sessions. It's important to get the right amount of hydration, but also other bits and bobs as well. So one of my first videos was actually on how much water you need as a baseline each day. Have a look at that, but it's roughly 24 milliliters times your body weight in kilograms will give you your baseline amount of water each day. And then for every additional hour of exercise you're doing, you're aiming for around 750 milliliters of fluids. Now in those fluids, especially for the longer sessions, or if you're a heavy sweater like I am during exercise, you might want to consider some electrolytes. So electrolytes are really important for keeping our muscles contracting properly. Often we'll get electrolyte depletion in later stages of sessions, and that's when we can get muscle cramps. So important to keep those topped up little and often. I like these zero electrolyte tabs. They fizz up when you're in your bottle and it tastes kind of like a little fizzy drink. In one of my bottles each time I kind of fill it up. But equally you could just use some good quality salt. A sprinkle of that in your water bottle will keep you topped up, and it's probably a little bit more cost effective. So yeah, in essence, up to an hour, no need for intra-workout nutrition. Anything beyond that, aiming for 200 to 300 calories an hour. Keep it simple, keep things that you have tried before and your digestive system knows what's coming in, and then some electrolytes in those drinks, another 750 millilitres of fluids per hour of additional exercise. Any questions? Hope that helps. Pop them below if you do have questions, and thanks a lot. Cheers.